this is a 16mm gouge. I really want to get this quite clean across here, then I'll put some little beads on it. Now you can see how this is leaning into the bowl, right?
Yep.
I want to sort of copy what is happening just there. I want to get some leaning into the bowl, never flat. It just looks too expected. Now that's looking good there. Now see how that's going to be leaning into the bowl? Now the entrance to the bowl is going to be over here, and I'm going to undercut it round and behind with this tool here. With a piece like this, it's a nice piece of wood, but it's all about design. You know, you really want something that's a bit unique. Good, so we'll have a look at that. Starting to bring out these nice patterns onto that top edge there. I'm happy with that. There's a little bit of a bump just there, and that's about where the undercut's going to be on the entrance. It's going to be quite different to this bowl. That's where I want to be. Right there. Then I'm going to cut some beadwork on that. So I take my lapstone, making sure there's no gum build up on the end of the tool. Take the lapstone and just tweak that tool up, but don't overdo it. Just tweak it up with there.
And then cut tool there, that's the 3 around. Yeah.
Now I'm going to bead this on this entrance here. I'll probably just now put a little bit more pace on because I've got the bowl a lot more balanced. So I've radiused that. You don't want any sharp edge on the top of the bowl there, right? So now I want to bead that to get this type of idea on the top of the bowl here, and I'll come all the way over to about here. Then I'm going to kick it round and behind with that other tool. This is a 6mm woodcut bowl gouge, mini bowl gouge is what they call it, 6mm. And I want a series of beads all the way along the top here. This will really give some interest to the grain. It'll make the grain get real hoops in it. I've got my finger underneath the tool rest here to give me control of the cut. You see that shaving come off there because these cuts are cutting downhill. I'm rolling that, just using the very, very nose of that fingernail grind. You wouldn't want to be doing these with a scraper or a skew chisel. You want to be cutting downhill and just nice rolling motions. And you can see I'm graduating the size so that they're going to be smaller towards the entrance. I'm graduating the size. I don't mark these with a pencil, but I just look carefully at the width of each one and graduate the sizes so that they're progressive. If you used a scrapey, pokey thing, all these beads are going to be the same width, right? Because you just poke it at the wood. I don't want them all the same, because if they're all the same size, it would have no real design class to it. So I'm getting them progressively narrower. Several more to go. And then when I get up to the entrance hole, it'll be undercut in underneath that. See them getting smaller? I think the biggest thing to remember is to graduate the size as you progress along. And then you'll see that then it holds a bit of interest. To have them all the same just wouldn't do it for me at all. Yeah, so you can see over top of the tool. If I tried to do it like that, I can't see the edge. So I turn it over so I can see over the top.
Yeah.
And that gives me a beautiful, interesting edge there.
Yeah.
Just pop that out so you can see that.
Yeah.
It does beautiful hoops to the grain here. And interesting to the fingers. Kelvin, chuck your fingers on that. It's not torn, it takes very little sanding. And then I'm going to stop the edge there, then I'm going to turn right back in behind and over and round. But firstly, I've got to take a piece out of the centre so I can plug those bits. So I'm just truing this up so I can then take a plug out of the middle, because I want the same coloured wood in that bit of damage on the outside of the bowl. Because I don't have any more of this wood off the bandsawn corners, but I do have that centre, which will be good enough in colour to plug those outside bits on the damage. Yeah. So that's just a way of utilising what you have in front of you, really. There it is. So that's what I'm going to use to plug that hole in the back, because it's the same colour. You have a look with the camera. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of that, thanks Sid. But it's actually got some quite nice interest in the bowl. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to undercut it all to give it some real interest, because at the moment it's not spinning my wheels yet for design, but it's getting there. So we want to get that edge there. Coming out of time, Shane. Yeah. So we want to terminate this here up to there, and then I'll undercut it. Now see, and that's why I need that piece of timber out of the centre, so I can deal with that. It's the same colour out of the same tree, and I need it to fill that, so that's the reason why I took that out of the centre. I'll continue to go underneath here. So Kelvin, put your hands on there. So when you hold the bowl, other way around with your hand, use the other hand. When you hold the bowl, so your thumb or your fingers will want to go right in underneath there. The more curve I get underneath, and the more volume out of the bowl by going over there, and another probably 15 mils deep. At the moment, we're only in 63. And we want to go in, we want to go in 72, 73, so we can gain depth and a lot of undercut there. Now I'm going to come in up underneath here, and I'm going to undercut this. If you feel there, Kelvin, there's lots of wood there, right?
Yeah,
they're right there, there's lots,
yeah, there is.
So we can get a really good undercut. It makes it more interesting, you know, you've got the beadwork going on. The Proform hollowing tool. It's the same type of head as I ground before on the grinder. The side grain, razor sharp tool. And we're getting in underneath there and round over there. It's a very good tool. Do you have trouble with it? It's because you're using it like a scraper, right? Watch carefully. Stand right here. Watch. It cuts like that. Side on. Not like that. No, it's going to bite, right? Yeah. Put it on about 45 degrees. See that there? And it's wonderful. It just slices. Go in slow motion. There it is. Look. That's how it cuts there. See? Yeah. Over there, not like that. No. Just get it on its slide like that. See, there's the shaving. Yeah. Look at that. It's a wonderful thing. But don't put it on its flat. Get it over on its side. You can see that it's doing really nice things to this curve here. It's inviting the thumb to go underneath the bowl edge, you know. And there's lots of wood right there, you know, right over there. Because of that flange, the whole bowl will feel much nicer in the hand. You can see now what's happening with the design, that it's sort of inviting you into the bowl, isn't it?
Yeah.
The piece I cut out of the middle, I'll shape up on the bandsaw and I'll drive it into that fault there and get quite an accurate tidy drive in there. And also if you have a look around on the back, it's got a fault here. So I'll take another piece and I'll line up the grain nicely onto that face there so we can get a bit of as best colour match we can, using some aliphatic glue or even epoxy with a little bit of colour in it, and it will just look and match in generally with the stripe around it. Then the process of the bowl will be sanded, finished, and a paste wax finish to conclusion, and it'll be coming out of the chuck and it'll be written on. I'm using the 130mm jaws on a set 130mm base spigot, squeezing down. Got a texture in against that corner there, and that's a clean finish which will be sanded. down to 800 grit and get a paste wax finish right around the whole bowl. I've got a little bit more undercut to go here. I'd like to go more over there to give that really thumb position for the fingers, and the whole design of the bowl is to get right in over there, give it a bit more volume, but and the beaded finish really displays the grain off here and gets these hoopy little pieces folding out on the grain. You can see it quite clearly where the little wee rises in the grain appear. This is a fairly interesting piece of timber in itself, but with the beads it just enhances that. Thanks.